we recording? Yes, we are recording. Okay, perfect. So back to the group assignment. You will work in with your group in coming up with some ideas for projects to. Yeah, Judy is asking who has no group, so please communicate with each other. Now we have the WhatsApp group that ends with PM. So please, maybe you can communicate among yourselves. Uh, for this assignment, I prefer that you do it organically with yourselves because we are in different time zones. So you will have extra meetings as a group. You might work simultaneously at the same time. So you can harness the power of Google Docs, or you share documents with each other. So it will be much more easier if you are in the same time zone. Otherwise, you can adjust your schedule. If you couldn't find a group in your time zone or close to your time zone, adjust your schedule. For a few years, I was working totally virtually, and I had meetings with people from Australia and South Korea, and I had meetings at horrendous times. So in the middle of the night or very, very early in the morning. So adjust your schedule. And actually, this is very, very common right now, especially in projects that mostly IT, so you will find that people are working from different offices, from different time zones, from different countries, in virtual teams, and actually it's an art to manage a virtual team. So I want to start with the assignment. So let me grab the file and share the screen with you so we can start working. Where is it? Okay, still people are admitting. Okay. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, this is the file. So you will find the instructions of the assignment plus the Excel sheet that has all the sustainable development goals that you will use to select a goal or okay, let me share my entire screen so it's so it will be easier. For us to, okay. So this is the file. Can you see the Excel sheet? So this is the file. You will find that there are several tabs. The first one is the objectives. And I was reading the assignment again, and I discovered that I did not provide you with a budget. Usually in project management, you will start with some constraints. And we talked about constraints earlier, and we will talk about constraints today as well. So what are the constraints that you have here? Actually, maybe something regarding the scope. I have included a timeline because now you have what to work on each week. So the timeline is our, no, this is for the planning, but it's not the timeline for the project. So I will add here that the project timeline is 6 months, and your budget is $500,000. Okay, so this is very, very important. I will write it here. So the timeline of the project itself, not the assignment, is 6 months, and you have a budget of $500,000 US dollars. Okay, so this is very, very important, because usually you will start with some idea about the constraint. The scope, you will plan, you will define the scope, and we will learn today how we define the scope. So you will find that I have divided it into weeks. So week 2 and 3, you will be forming your groups. You will be brainstorming project ideas and deciding on one idea related to one of the sustainable sustainable development goals. And you will also do some analysis of, what are the objectives of the project, what's the scope of the project, who are the stakeholders, and of course you have your budget and a timeline. So this is something that you will not calculate, so you have to work with what you get. Today we will talk about how we identify stakeholders. Hopefully, if we cannot, we will continue next week. Then you will start working on the project management plan. Of course, we start with the project planning. So you will do some work breakdown structure. And also we will talk about this. What are the tasks, subtasks, until you reach the lowest level of tasks, and we call it work, oh my God, work package. These are the smallest task that you will give to your team members to work on. And of course, you will work on the resources. How will you allocate resources? And so on. And every week we will talk about what you have to do this week in your assignment. I did not ask you to use a specific project management software, because it will need some time, especially if you don't have any experience with project management softwares. Of course, we have so many applications and software available in the market. Actually, I have an Excel sheet with hundreds of different applications and software that we use. Some of these applications are very, very sophisticated, specific for certain industries. Some of them are based on predictive methodologies. Remember, we talked about this last time, waterfall. Some of these supports agile, like Jira, for example. Some of them could be used on small scale projects. Some of them are used on big scale projects. I'm familiar with Primavera and of course MS project. These are mostly predictive, based on predictive methodologies or waterfall. You will find that, for example, construction companies, they use mostly predictive approaches. Here we have so many goals, 17, and see more: gender equality, water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, industry innovation, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible production, climate action. You will have here a variety of projects. Okay, so choose one of these. Um, let's see. For example, here, one of these goals. So, okay, maybe our group decided that, okay, we will think of a project that's targeting oceans and seas, you know, so, or maybe rivers. So you can read the sub goals here. And for example, here, they say by 2020, of course, convert at least 10% of coastal and marine areas consistent with national and international law and based on the best available scientific information. So maybe you will do some research about this specific goal and see what they mean by this. What are the international laws applicable here? And what's the project that we can think of that we can finish within 6 months and within a budget of $500,000? Let's choose another one. Maybe you can say, okay, we will clean the coastal reefs. Maybe we can install some sort of a protection for the coral reefs that you know, are depleting. Here, responsible production. I'm choosing. I'm just brainstorming with you. So, for example, here, develop and implement tools to monitor sustainable development impacts for sustainable tourism that creates jobs and promotes local culture and products. You might go and search. People are still joining. So you might go and search, okay, what are possible projects for sustainable tourism? So maybe something regarding transportation. So maybe we have a specific tour with a certain company, for example, or a certain country, and they create some guidelines for tour operators how to have sustainable touristic tours. Maybe here industry, let's see. Increase the access of small-scale industrial and other enterprises, in particular in developing countries, to finance services, including affordable credit and their integration into value chains and markets. So maybe you will start a microfinancing project for local communities or something like this. I'm just brainstorming with you. The same way you will be brainstorming among yourselves until you find a suitable project. So here, for example, we have affordable and clean energy. So here we have, by 2030, expand the infrastructure and upgrade technology for applying modern and sustainable energy services for all in developing countries, in particular least developed countries, small islands, developing states, and landlocked developing countries, in accordance with their respective programs of support. So maybe you will target a small country or a developing country or a small island, and you will recommend having a sustainable energy production project, maybe solar panels installed on governmental buildings or something like this, or maybe building a small wind turbine farm to generate clean energy. So in a nutshell, I want you to discuss among yourselves ideas for projects. These projects not large in scale, because remember, you have two main constraints, the time and the budget. So make it small, and this will make it easier also for you when you are working on your assignment. So any question about the assignment? Okay. So I think once you meet within your group, you will start asking questions. I used this assignment several times in different contexts, and my students got very wonderful ideas. And also here we are focusing on project management. So don't get caught on the idea of the project itself. Focus on project management skills, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are practicing some sort of a simulation of how you will manage a project. So back to the today's.
I just have one question, Prof.
Yes, please.
Can we use Microsoft projects, or we are strict to use Microsoft Excel?
No, you can use it. The reason I did not specify a specific software, because I was not sure everyone can use a software. So yeah, and some of my students, they even used Asana. They used Mondays. These are web-based. These applications have some sort of flexibility. So if one of the team has experience in one of the software or applications, yes, please, by all means, use it. So we will continue. Okay, this is okay. We will continue from week 2 because we need to finish project selection. So let me share this one, not chapter 3. And let's continue. Oh, last time we stopped at the selection. We finished strategic management, and we talked a little bit about the different types of projects, and I told you there is no one way to classify projects. We have different approaches, we have different theories. In this particular book, they say projects are one of these 3. Compliance that we have to do, strategic projects that will support the strategic objectives of the company or the organization, or operational projects that tends to enhance or improve our operational management. For each project, we have to have a business case. The business case, in the business case, we study the feasibility of this project. Is it aligned to our objectives or not? What are the different options? You know, and this business case will be part of a bigger process, which is project selection. So every year, your organization will have tens of ideas for possible projects for the coming maybe fiscal year, or maybe the new strategic time frame, like 5 years or something like this. So we need to have a structured approach how to select the best ideas that will go and be and that will become projects that we will apply. Also, we use the business case to develop our charter. And the charter is um, an official document that is used to approve the project. Once we have a project charter, we have a project, because the project charter will include what is the project, high level scope of the project, the objectives of the project, who the sponsor or the champion, the budget, the constraints, some risks, some high level risks, of course, the project manager, and maybe some of the team members, maybe in terms of positions and skills, maybe not names, but usually we have this. So we need to create a business case. So we have either a business need or opportunity, or something that we have to comply with, or something that we are aspiring to perform. And we have different options, and we have to choose from these different options. So before going to this activity, let's move a little bit. So you will find that senior management have certain goals, and we have different levels of goals, across the organization. So the senior management will go through this selection process, so they can make sure that they are committing resources when needed. So for each project they will commit to, they have to have a budget, they have to have resources. And I don't remember if I mentioned this last time, but we look in the budget. So we will say, okay, this project will cost us $500,000 for 6 months. I have to start with a locked-in budget for this project. This budget will include the cost baseline that we have to calculate how much this project will cost us, and also 2 reserves. One is contingency reserve, and this will be at your disposal as a project manager, if based on the risks that you assessed. If something like this happens, I have a budget aside to deal with risks or opportunities or threats as they come. And we have a management reserve, and this reserve is at the disposal of the senior management. When you have an issue bigger than your authority, and you need to get support from your senior management, so they have a disposal access to a management reserve, so they can support you. Also, the senior management wants not to commit to a specific option too early. We need to do our due diligence, so we make sure that we are investing our resources in the right project. Of course, they want to maximize the benefits they get, return on investment. And one important thing is dealing with risks. Every organization, sometimes every department, will have a risk tolerance. So, for example, I can accept risks related to certain operational, what's the opposite of improvement? Issues, but I cannot accept risks related to compliance, for example, with the government. I cannot accept any risk that might jeopardize my license, for example. So, and also another word, we call it risk appetite. You know, I have appetite for high risks as long as these risks are associated with high rewards. And mixing this with, or adding this to the risk tolerance, okay, I can accept risks up to $1 million. You know, I'm a solid company, I can accept risks up to $1 million. But above that threshold, I cannot accept risks. And also for the senior management, they think a lot about uncertainty, because senior management is always thinking of the future. So there are types of uncertainties. And of course, there are other theories related to uncertainty. So you might read in other literature, other approaches. So if you don't do sufficient planning, you might have uncertainty. And this uncertainty is it means before starting the project. If you don't dedicate enough time and effort to planning, you might have some uncertainty that will lead to risks. Also, resistance to decisions, whether from top level or lower level. So you might find some team members are resisting some or certain decisions, and top management, they might resist certain decisions. So you need to think of what risks can come from this reason or cause. Lack of knowledge. So for example, you are working now on wind turbine. Your team members don't have enough knowledge about wind turbine projects. This will lead to some sort of risks. Incomplete information. Yes, you have some information, but this information is not complete. Unclear information. You have information, but you don't understand, or there's some sort of ambiguity of this information. Also unstable information. So some sort of information that are changing with time. For example, currency exchange rates. We can consider this as unstable information. I know the currency exchange rate now. I might have a trend that can help me to calculate the or to set assumptions for currency exchange rates for the coming 3 months or something, but after that, I cannot. So why I include uncertainty? Because top management usually think of these elements. As a project manager, and maybe you are not that high in the hierarchy, you might not be aware of this part that's integral part of strategic management. So how we select a project. So, and this is something that you will do in your group assignment. You will collect project ideas. So maybe you will, you are 3 in the group. You will say, okay, and you are the project manager. You will say, okay, every group member go and think of 3 different ideas to support this sustainable development goal. So the group members will send you potential ideas. So now you have a basket or pool of potential projects. Then you will evaluate projects using qualitative and quantitative methods, and we will talk about this. Then you will decide on which project or project that will do the cutoff and become the actual project that you will work on. And we use some sort of a scoring matrix to decide after, doing the quantitative and qualitative analysis. So where projects ideas come from? Maybe we have a problem. So maybe a certain country, what you are aware that they have a problem in this. For example, here in Canada, believe it or not, we have a huge problem in recycling. So we collect garbage. Um, some some people in the population do good recycling, meaning that they will divide the garbage into bio that will go to the landfill, plastics, papers, glass, metals, and we do this at homes or at the facilities of work. But for example, you cannot or we still have not enforced this in malls, big malls. So at the shopping malls, we just throw the garbage, although we have different baskets for different material, but people, they just throw anything everywhere, anywhere. So you might identify a problem, or you might identify an opportunity to enhance something or to improve something. Or you might find that there is a mandate on, for example, manufacturing facilities in certain country. I remember when I was working in quality assurance, one of the companies that I worked with, we were installing some sort of a filtering system for a company that produce gases. So instead of emitting the gases to the atmosphere, it goes through this filtering system, and we collect these gases, and we prevent it from going to the atmosphere. And why is that? Because at that time, that country I was working in, they had some directives or some mandates for certain industries to minimize their emissions. So once you have, the ideas, you will decide on the selection criteria. So some are financial, some are non-financial, and some are multi-criteria. And most of the time, you will be using multi-criteria. So financial criteria, these are just examples. Payback. So if I will invest today 500 or $500,000, when I will get my money back? Some projects will have shorter payback. It means that within 3 years, we will have our money back. Some projects, especially strategic projects, they will not start generating enough revenue too soon. So the shorter payback, the better, but not necessary, because we cannot just rely on financial criteria only. Another way is net present value. So what's the present value of the money now? Because, okay, if I will get the money after a while, the money might not, the value of the money might be less. And we have ways to calculate the net present value. Non-financial criteria, for example, the mandates. So whether I will receive my money back sooner or later, I have to do it. It's a mandate. This is not financial criteria or strategic oriented or strategic importance to the company. And usually we mix both, and we create our models of, assessing different ideas. To give you an example of how this might be in real world. I was working in real estate developing company. The company was huge. So at the time I was working with them, that's like 15 years ago, we had a paid capital of $400 million. And at that time, 15 years ago, that was a huge amount of dollars at our disposal. This paid capital covered three different major projects. One of them was our flagship project. It was two iconic towers in UAE. And the project was part of an initiative by Sheikh Al Maktoum. And it was going to put the company on a different scale. It was a new company, newly formed. We didn't have any project. And that was our flagship. And it was part of this big, huge national initiative supported by, the Sheikh. It's something like the king or the emir or the emperor. And the CEO, he had a background in investment, but not real estate development. And he found that at his disposal, this huge amount of money. So he had an idea to sell the project. We haven't started with the project yet, but we finished all the planning, all the design, all the procurement planning, all the subcontracting planning, everything like this. And we were about to start in few months. So he was thinking to sell what we have now to an established real estate development company, meaning competitor, and he will get the money from that company plus the money, the paid capital, and he will invest it in the stock market. And we were two teams. Myself, I was vice president for strategic initiatives, plus the COO and the CEO and the CFO. The CEO and the CFO wanted to do this investment because of their investment and stock market background. And of course, the other team I was part of, no, we wanted to go through the original plan for the company and perform and do the project that will take 3 years of construction, but the reward was huge. And we presented a presentation. I did not present, but the COO presented, and he included financial and non-financial criteria. Because the initial plan, the payback was long, 3 to 5 years. And of course, the other team, the payback was immediate. With this much money, you get money or profits on daily basis, or you get losses. Some people are joining. Yeah. So we had this presentation, and we and the board actually sided with going with the original strategic plan for the company and do the project as assigned. So it's very important when you are selecting your methods of assessment to balance having some financial and non-financial criteria in your assessment. Okay, so for example, the payback model, it measures the time the project will take to recover the project investment. So if I invest $100 now, when I will get my money back. Of course, the shorter the term, the better. And it's so easy, it's simple, the calculations are simple, and it emphasizes the cash flow coming from this project. However, it ignores the time value of the money. So the $100 now doesn't don't equal $100 in 5 years. It assumes cash inflows for the investment period and not beyond. So the calculations are limited to a specific period, and it doesn't consider profitability. So I might have large inflows, cash, but I'm spending a lot. And here is the formula to calculate this. This is supposed to be a group activity. I will leave it to you to do it. So this is, a question. So, and the calculations are not terribly difficult. And here is the answer. And you will find that, okay, so in the question, the initial investment is $250,000. It gives you the inflows at the end of the year. So by year one, we generated cash inflow of 70,000, 90,000, 110, and so on. So you calculate and you will find, okay, what's the cumulative cash inflow? So for example, by the end of year two, we had the cash flow from year one plus the cash flow from year two, and we have this number, and so on. So you will find by the end of year three, we have $270,000. The initial investment was $250,000. So it means that our payback period within the 2-3 years. So because of course we reached the 250 before the end of year three. So every company or every organization decides which payback period is desired. So for example, some companies will reject projects if the payback period is more than 5 years. So it's a criteria. So we calculate the payback period for all the projects that we have, and initially we exclude all the projects that have longer payback periods. Okay, so here is some comparison between two projects, and it will give you, okay, this one is 3.1 years, this one is 3.6 years. And of course, there are other certain calculations that we calculate. Another important calculation is the net present value. So the management will decide what's the minimum desired rate of return. And of course, we do some calculations, and based on the numbers that are we are getting, we will decide if this project is good or bad. And here is an example of this. So also we need to balance the financial criteria, and of course we have more than these two. For example, we have internal rate of return. It means that if I invested this money, the budget for this project, in another way, what's the internal rate of return? So if I find other ways that has bigger rate of return, I might exclude this project from the pool of project that I will do. We have also some non-financial criteria. For example, to develop an enabler product, which by its introduction will increase sales in more profitable products. So for example, what examples of this? What came to my mind is the ear speakers, the earpod speakers, and having it designed in a certain way. So it might increase buying an adapter to link the earpod with regular end to the iPhone, for example. You know, some example. I'm sure that you will come up with better example than mine. Or developing core technology. For example, in Tesla, Elon Musk invested in the batteries. So Tesla invested in a company that produces the batteries for the electrical cars. So this is a core technology for this type of cars, and the company decided to invest in this core technology. You will find so many examples, and of course, each company will have its objectives, strategic objectives. There are ways we combine the financial and non-financial together. The easiest type or model is the checklist. So we have a checklist of different criteria and a threshold or cut off for the financial criteria, and we just check, and the project that makes more checks, get advanced into the pipeline. However, not all criteria are at the same importance. So in the example that I gave you earlier, that project was part of a national initiative. So it has a very, very strategic significance for the company. Also, it was our flagship. So just imagine a company just started a few months ago, and we started to promote this project, and it was on our website and flyers, and we joined some exhibitions and conferences, and suddenly we sell this project to another competitor, and we don't have a project. So that was huge, significant strategic objective. Shall we give it the same weight as other criteria? No, we have to differentiate. So we use the weighted scoring model. So we have the criteria and we assign a weight for each criteria to reflect its importance. So here is the checklist model. So there are, specific ways. Sometimes we use it as a question. Sometimes we use certain values. So, for example, is the return on investment for this project bigger or higher or lower than 10%, for example? So the top management will decide certain values. Here we use the weighted or the multi-weighted scoring model, and actually this is what you will use for choosing your project. So right now, back to the group assignment, you have collected ideas, let's say 9 ideas, 9 different ideas. So what are the criteria that we will have? So we will list these criteria here at the top. And see here, it's a mixture of financial and non-financial criteria. And we will set a weight for these criteria to reflect its importance. And then we will calculate, we will give score for each of these projects in this criterion. and we will calculate a final score. And the project with the highest score, in this case, for example, project 5, will be selected, and the lower and the lower and the lower and so on. Okay. So I will leave you to read these and to study these and to design the score matrix, and decide and use it, and it will be part of the output of your assignment, group assignment. So any questions so far? Any question?
Professor, I wish to get a PowerPoint in group, or maybe not. There is no on Moodle. I haven't found any PowerPoint.
There are no PowerPoint? No, I have uploaded this presentation last night. Yeah.
Where can I get it, Professor?
On Moodle.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Professor. Previous lecture also too, Professor.
Yeah.
Because I need to prepare assignments.
The assignment also on Moodle.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
Please take some time to check the material I post. I don't post tons of material, but they are strategic material. For example, I post test your knowledge every week with every chapter. So this is, instead of giving you a quiz and it will be part of your grade, I post the questions for you to test your knowledge on your own, and give yourself some grades and see how do you understand the material that we have. I also post the original slides that we get from the publisher, and last night I posted this slide, because sometimes I add few slides here and there. Yes, Muhammad Yusuf.
Yes, Dr. Hanan, I have a question. Is the group has to be like 3 members, or it can be like more than 3 members?
Because we are a small class, so I thought 3. Okay, just one exception, 3 to 4.
Sounds good. So the reason why, we are like a diverse group, and I don't want like, let's say, same nationality or same country people will prefer to be together. It will be easier. I know it will be like more easier for everyone.
Yes, because of the time zone.
Yeah, but I think it will give more weight and value for the project if we have different people from different countries.
Well, usually I don't let students to organize themselves. I use an app and I give all the names, and this app, scramble the names, and I will give you, this is your group and you have to work in, because in real life, you will be assigned a team or team members that if it is up to you, you might not select them. So you have to work with so many. But for this class, because we have different time zones, I thought I will leave it to you to to organize yourself organically. So bottom line, maximum 4 people in the group. So we have some groups that already formed. If anyone has no group, please post on the WhatsApp, and you have to be part of a group. Okay? Any other question? We have here something written.
Yes. One more thing, Dr. Hanan, regarding the last session slides, if you don't mind. I know that the one you were presenting is different than the ones were like uploaded. I know that you added some slides. So if you don't mind, if you can share with us.
It is shared. I did it last night.
Okay, okay, sounds
Yeah,
good. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, you have here a comment. This is not optional in Calgary. So what's this?
I mean recycling. So recycling in Calgary is mandatory.
Yeah,
Every house and business will have 3 different bins.
yeah,
Black for garbage,
yeah,
blue for recycle, and green for compost.
yeah. Same here in Ontario.
Yeah, you will get fines if you don't like follow
Yeah,
the plan. And for the bottle recycling, it's optional. Either you throw them in the blue bin, or you take them yourself to the bottle depot and get cash back.
yeah. But the example that I mentioned was regarding the shopping malls. So, and this is an actual problem, because I was working with the municipality, and you can enforce this on businesses. That's the easiest entities that you can force any mandate. At homes, yes. At condos, it's so difficult, and in shopping malls, it's a huge problem. Yeah. Okay, so I will give you a break for 10 minutes, and we will be back. So it's 11 now. We will be back at 11:10. Welcome back. Please join the meeting. Our 10 minutes has ended. Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back. So back to what we were talking about. So it's part of your assignment to do this selection process and decide on a project. And your project will be within the timeline, 6 months, and within the budget, $500,000, not $1 million. Okay. And for the strategic objectives, we already have the sustainable objectives. Please select a straightforward projects for your benefit, because as I said, our focus is on applying the skills and the knowledge in the domain of project management. Okay. So some of the things that you have to do, especially in the selection, is risks and assessing risks. And most of the time, the top management will be very, very keen to understand the risks of any project before committing to this project. So you might include some risks in the project, and we do some scoring, and we have a risk assessment matrix. I'm sure that we will talk about this later in the coming weeks, but now I want you to understand that it's an issue for top management. So when you are talking with the top management, understand this. Okay, you will have here the screening and some of the tools. We will go into groups. So we will have 3 groups, 3 different companies: HelloFresh, Full Circle, and Instacart. And I have here some projects. I try to come up with a list of projects that could be applicable to the 3 companies. Okay. So the first one is tackling cybersecurity threats to the company's website. So any website can have these threats, and the 3 companies have websites. The second one is a robotic arm handling the material or the goods they have. It might be in the operation center in HelloFresh. It might be in the store or the storage or the warehouse, sorry, for Full Circle. And for Instacart, I'm not sure if, it's applicable. Also, installing solar panels. The three companies can benefit from this project. HelloFresh has operation centers. Full Circle, of course, they have stores. And Instacart, they have headquarters. So they might benefit from this project. The next one is community supported garden. So maybe investing in a community garden in a neighborhood or something. The next one is the implementation of a fleet management software. The three companies have vehicles that they need to manage. The last one is the implementation of an inventory management software. Again, two companies might benefit directly from this one. Maybe Instacart will not benefit from this one. So I want you to, I will divide you into groups. I will give you 10 minutes and I want you to discuss and prioritize these projects. So you might eliminate a project idea. You say, no, it's not applicable. We will not go through this. You might rank these projects. But what I am interested more in is to tell me what are the criteria that you decided for the prioritization process that you will go into. Any question before I divide you into groups?
So, Professor, what's the main vision?
So I gave you this list of projects. The first group will focus on HelloFresh. The second group will focus on Instacart. The third group will focus on Full Circle. I want you to see these projects and prioritize these projects for this particular company to go through. Okay?
Okay.
So for this, I will give you another 7 minutes. I want you to do it quickly. And so it's 3 groups. And the timer will end abruptly. So the first thing you do is decide who will be your spokesperson. Okay? So steady, ready, go. Welcome back. Welcome, welcome.
We didn't have time to finish everything.
It's okay.
That's the most interesting part of the assignment.
Okay, we will never have enough time. I just want you to do the discussion and how you can apply the concepts that we have. So everyone is here, yes? Okay, group 1, you were assigned HelloFresh. So please, your spokesperson, tell us which project that you decided at the end.
We decided for the project number 1, tackling cybersecurity tools and the company website.
So out of these projects, you selected 1.
Yes, because and the selection criteria was the mixed table criteria. It's financial and non-financial. It got the top score for it is a strategic fit and urgent project. And also this cybersecurity project will increase sales and encourage customer more to use their credit card to buy our product.
Yep.
Yes, the trustability for the website, and also it's that will lead to improve the customer loyalty and reduce the defect which could face them during their buying journey on the site, and all that will lead to increase in the ROI. Yes, so it's from this perspective of financial and non-financial criteria, this is the best fit project number one. It gets the most top score for this.
Okay, did you decide what's the next one, or you only decided on one?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, doctor.
Did you decide only on one project, or have you studied the other and maybe you had a list of 3 projects?
We compare the 3 projects tackling cybersecurity and robotic arm and the implementation of fleet management software. But robotic arm, we decide that it's not strategic. It's it could be for later, not urgent now. And so we decide to select number one to get the top score.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Group 2, your spokesperson, please.
Want to add something for group 1?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Olena, can I talk?
Yes, sure.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, we set the priority of the project based on the criteria that was applied. And we choose first the cybersecurity because InstaShop is its main or total business is online. So it's urgent. It's very important. It will increase profitability. So it's what's number one project to set. We add to another project as important, but later in the priority. One of them is implementation of inventory management software, fleet management software. And the third is inventory management software. We thought the robotic arm was the fourth project, but it's not urgent.
In Instacart?
Yes.
So where will you use the robotic arm?
Actually, I don't know, but we set it as
the robotic arm we can use in the store in order to pick up the items from the shelves to put it in the packages. But we thought that's less priority than the other 3.
Yes. So the robotic arm, you will equip each driver with a robotic arm to
it will be in the store to collect the items from the shelves.
Instacart do not have stores.
They deliver the products. They deliver the products, so maybe have some station to collect the. Or I misunderstand it.
Yeah, they don't have, but maybe they will have, instead of a robotic arm, some trolley or something mechanical that can help the drivers to deliver and carry the stuff to the customers. But anyway, without digging more in the project, my idea is that you had a discussion and you set the criteria and you had a balance between financial and non-financial.
Yes. And now our senior management refused one of our projects.
Yes. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Perfect. The third group.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Professor. So for us, according to all criteria, it's the most important. It's the inventory management software because HelloFresh has stores, and we need to provide inventory maybe every month or every 2 weeks. I don't know. And it's a first priority for full circle. Second priority is the fleet management software because we have Autopark, so we need to manage the a movement or something about the cars. Third priority is, of course, it's cybersecurity because we don't want our website will be hacked or something like this. And maybe we're thinking as a robotic arm, especially if this project give us some advantages and to reduce the number of workers we need, because if robotic arms can provide some helps to storing, to moving goods, then we need less manpower, and robotic arm can work 24/7, so we will pay less in the end of the day and have a good support. So as for solar panel and community supported garden, it's not our priority, but if we have some money and we want to make some input in community development, maybe we will think about community supported garden, because it's like enterprise. We have to support the community and to pay back somehow. So it will be our input to developing the city, or I don't know, country where we are operating. So.
So I see that one of your criteria was availability of budget or availability of money, and you used this to prioritize. What other financial criteria that you included?
It's a ROI, how fast we can return our investments, and
return on investment.
Yes, return on investment. It's very important because we should understand, will we get this money back, or we just a waste of money?
So return on investment is different than payback period. Payback period is when I will get back the money, my initial investment. Return on investment, it means that if I invested $100, I will get back 110. So now we have 10% return on investment. So each project we calculate return on investment and payback period and maybe other financial. Yes, Muhammad Abu Laila?
Yes, is it payback the same as break even? The same terminology?
No, break even is when your out will equal to in. It means that whatever you spend is equal to the revenue.
Not what I spent during the 3 past year, break even to make a profit.
You will reach the break even point. At break even point, your profit is 0. Because you are spending 10 and you get 10. It's a different calculation. Payback, it means that today I have invested $100. The project will give me back the $100 in 3 years, for example. But the break-even calculations, it's what you spend is equal to what is the revenue. So your profit is 0.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a different calculation.
Okay, because I was using the break-even instead of payback.
Yes, you can. And as I said, there are several financial calculations that we use. For example, the book, I don't think they mention internal return on investment, IRR. This is something that, for example, in my previous company, we used to use it a lot. So there are other financial criteria, and I believe you will work with the financial department or the CFO on deciding which ratios you need to focus on. Yeah, Muhammad Yusuf?
Yes, Dr. Hanan, just heads up, next time I will strike. I will form a union and strike if we don't get like 15 minutes at least for the group discussions. Okay. Jokes aside, I think it's it might be like more useful if we get, so in this specific example, so we didn't know, number one, we didn't know the loss, let's say, and because of cyber security threats. We didn't know the loss. You didn't give us the budget for each project, so we can evaluate which one is applicable to our business.
Yep.
And you didn't give us the time frame for every project illustration.
Yep.
So I think next time, if you share more information with us, it will be more helpful for us to decide which project will go.
Yeah, and actually, this is actually what happens in real life. But sometimes you do some assumptions, and actually, we do this. For example, some of the ratios. For example, inflation. You might have some idea about inflation, but definitely in 3 years, how inflation will be, you don't know. So you will set some assumptions. So you can start the discussion saying, okay, all these projects have the same budget and have the same timeline. So don't get caught about all the details. Yes, Muhammad Abu Laila?
Yes, I just need to add something about assumption because I'm working a lot about assumption. We must write the assumptions that we are making.
Yes.
Because everyone will revise it later, must see what assumption, especially if it's an Excel sheet.
Yes, and it's a very, very important part of the business case and the feasibility study.
Yes, because when we are working in future, we are assuming some things. We must write it because if it changes, everything will change later.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. Okay, so let's move to the today's. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yes, this is a very, very important topic that we need to understand. The structure, the organizational structure and the organizational culture and the relationship between project management and structure and culture. Each company will have an organizational structure that is different than other companies. So before going into the details of the structure, what do we mean by organizational structure?
Human.
Human what?
Human hierarchy.
The hierarchy of human or positions or functions?
All.
Or
the hierarchy
role?
include all. The hierarchy of the company include persons, the job description, and who's reporting to whom and which level.
Yes, yes. This is very important. The organizational structure is like the skeleton of your company. It gives you an idea about the main functions in your company, how the business is organized in business units, what are the different roles or tasks or jobs, who is reporting to whom, and who has direct communication channel with whom. So it's very important to understand that your project is not working in vacuum. Your project at the end of the day is part of a bigger organization, and the structure will affect how you manage your project. So in general terms, of course, there are so many again ways that we can or types of structure, but these are the three main organizational structures that we will use, and we will see where our project fit within these structures. The first one, we call it functional organization. The second one is dedicated project teams, and the third one is matrix structure. And under matrix, we have other types or different based on the power play between the project manager and the functional manager, but we will talk about this in detail later. So right now, I want you to understand that we have three organizational structure in relationship with project management: functional, dedicated project teams, and matrix. And actually, matrix is a mix between the functional and the dedicated project teams. So let's see how the functional look like. This is an organizational chart that shows, okay, what do we have here? We have human resources, we have finance and administration, we have engineering, we have manufacturing. Under manufacturing, we have fabrication, assembly, testing, production. Under engineering, electronics, software, mechanical. So these are functions within my organization. And in this structure, everything related to a specific function is grouped within a business unit. So these boxes represent business units, and it's a group based on what the function this business unit is supposed to do. Okay, what tasks? So anything related to the human resources is concentrated in this department or in this business unit. Everything related to engineering is grouped under engineering. And within engineering, we have subgroups. Again, specialization, maybe, and we group this. So where is my project will fit? So if we create a project, for example, maybe we are creating a new product. So we are studying a new product. We will decide, okay, which functions will be involved in this project. We have the marketing, maybe they will do marketing analysis. The engineering, they will do the design. The manufacturing will have some inputs about how can we actually manufacture the parts based on the engineering, how we will assembly, what quality testing that we need, and the procurement, because we need to purchase items or services for this project. So these are the functions that will be involved in the project. And for this project, we might have a project manager, maybe led. This project is led by marketing. So the project manager will come from the marketing background or the marketing unit. And the project coordination happens at the highest level between these units. So the functional organization, the top management decides to implement the project. Yes, of course, every project has to get the approval of the top management, especially if it will include different functions or different departments or different units within the organization. And these business units will be contributing to the project, and the project is actually distributed between these departments or business units. And we use the actual communication channels. So see here, all these lines represent the communication channels within the organization. So all the coordination is using the existing communication channel. We don't create a specific hierarchy for this project. And usually there is a project owner for this project. It might be different than the project sponsor. So maybe there is a department. In this case, for example, the marketing led this project idea that we need to develop this product based on our market survey or based on the inputs that we get from the market. So the main owner of this project is marketing, for example. So this is the dominant role, okay? And all the departments or business units assign personnel as part of the resource pool for this project. So we might have team members from the engineering, team members from the manufacturing, team members from procurement working together in this project. Of course, there are advantages and disadvantages for each of these types. The biggest advantage in this functional organization that we don't change. We don't change the hierarchy. We don't change anything. We don't create new communication channels, nothing. It's flexible because, for example, I'm in procurement. I have two people can work in this project. I can assign X or I can assign Y. Each one will provide in-depth expertise. So people coming from engineering, they will provide in-depth expertise in this area. And also it's easy to transition the employees or the personnel who worked on this project back after we finish the project. They will go back to their departments, they will work, on their regular tasks. However, there are some disadvantages. Lack of focus, because, for example, I'm in the engineering department, okay? I'm working on the mechanical engineering. I'm assigned to this. So the functional manager or this unit's business unit manager will tackle so many tasks in addition to the project. So there might be lack of focus or dedication. In some instance, we might have poor integration of these people coming from different business units. In some instance, this might be slow. So I will call the engineering department head asking for some information. It might not be priority for him to come back to me. So I'm waiting for his input. He's consumed in other things. He will come back to me late. So it's slow. And again, lack of ownership. Yes, we might have some dominant business unit taking the lead for this project, but how about the other business units? Okay, so this is for the functional organizational chart when it comes to projects and project management. Another type is dedicated project teams. And this is actually the dream of every organization or every project manager, that I will have my dedicated team and they only work on this project. They will not work on any other project. And here we create a temporary business unit, and we recruit the team members from within the organization and sometimes from outside the organization. And for the coming 6 months, we will only work on this project. So it's as if I'm creating this temporary unit. I'm assigning a dedicated team to work on this project. Also at the same time, all the business units are working the same. I'm the engineering head. I'm not involved in this project. I just sent one of my engineers, and he or she is working in this project, dedicated. I don't need to do anything else. Here's also for companies that their bread and butter is based on projects. For example, website development company. So they have projects in the pipeline for clients, or of course construction. So we generate income based on projects. We don't have continuous operations that produce the same product over and over. Also, in projectized organizations, we have dedicated project teams. And each project will have its own small structure within the organization. And of course, we have some generic units or general functions that support these different projects, like marketing, like human resources, like finance, like legal. So the strength is that it's simple, because it's a dedicated unit. The team is dedicated solely to this project. It's fast. Because people can communicate among each other. We are not communicating beyond the boundaries of the project. It's also cohesive, because even if we come from different departments, we are dedicated, we are spending the majority of our time on this project, and we are communicating solely on this project. And it will be easier to do some integration, because I represent my functional area, but we don't need to go back and forth to get information from these departments. The weaknesses, it's expensive. So, for example, if I'm taking, for example, $3,000 for full-time position, and I'm working on this project, it doesn't take all my time, this is waste. I might need to provide some resources for this project. Maybe they need a specific software. Maybe they need a room to meet, or some resources. There might be some friction between different units, or between the team members, because they come from different areas. For the limited technological expertise, because you are only have access to this team member or this resource, you don't have access to all the information coming from this functional area. It depends on who joins your team. Also, one of the most important disadvantages or weaknesses is post-project transition. And actually, this happened in one of my companies. Because we had projects in several Middle Eastern countries, at one time, we were working in 5 different projects in different geographical areas. Yes, 2 of them were in the same country, but they were in totally different geographical areas. and the culture in these two areas were totally different. And we hired people from these countries, in addition that we sent our engineers from the head office. These projects took 2 to 3 years. It means that this engineer, for example, let's say he was working in Kuwait and we sent him to work in UAE. For 3 years, he moved his family. This is true story. And he resided in the UAE. His kids went to schools there. They started to have friends, everything. So by the end of the project, we had 2 scenarios, actually several scenarios. Some engineers actually left the company and joined the competitors because they didn't want to move. Some engineers left their families in, let's say, the host country, and they came to the office, the headquarters, and after a while, they resigned because they wanted to go back to join their families, especially if this transition happens in the middle of a school year. And the third scenario is that they moved back and that engineer came after 3 years of being away from his department. Some new faces, some old colleagues that advanced in the hierarchy, and he came, and for a few months he was trying to adjust to the headquarter culture, and it was so difficult for him, and after a while he also resigned. So the post project transition is very difficult because you took someone from their original environment, you planted them in this temporary environment that they worked, and the longer the term of the project, the more difficult the transition will be. So this is a disadvantage. The matrix, you can see here, it's a mix between 2 structures. So at the top, here at the top, it's the regular functional structure. All the work is the business units are organized based on the functionality, the function they are doing: engineering, manufacturing, human resources, legal. And here in this company, we have director of project. It means that we have a PMO, a project management office. But the lower part of the organizational structure is actually projectized. And here we have some numbers. We have 1, 2, 3, and we have half. Who knows what these numbers are?
Time allocation.
Time. Yes,
Yeah.
it's full-time equivalent.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. So for this team, we have 1 full-time project manager, or project admin. We have 2 full-timers from the design engineering. We have 1 full-time equivalent from electronics, and here we have half from the testing. So this person is not half a person. No, it's full-time equivalent. So for this function, we need only half of their full-time dedicated to this project. So if we have here another project, let's say project D, we might find under testing another half. So this means that 2 employees dedicating half of their times to 2 different projects, or 1 full-time, let's say, tester working on 2 projects. So this is a mix between the 2 organizational structures. And under this, we have some struggles or some black and white and gray. So we have the project manager at one side, and we have the functional manager at the other side. So the project manager will decide what has to be done. So this is the scope. When it should be done. This is the timeline or the schedule, another constraint. Remember the project constraints. How much money is available for each task? So this is the third constraint, the budget. And how well had the total project will be done? This is another constraint, which is the quality. So as a project manager, I'm deciding the scope, the timeline, the budget, and the quality standards. The functional manager, because remember, as an employee, so let's look at this person here in the mechanical engineering or project B. I'm reporting actually to 2 managers. I'm reporting to my functional area manager, the mechanical engineering head, and I'm reporting to the project manager in project B. So that's why we have 2 powers here. So the functional manager will decide how this task will be done, because it had the technical background. Sorry, he or she had the technical background to decide how it will be done. How will the project involvement impact normal functional activities? Because this project is part of the whole activities in the organization. So there might be some interference when it comes to some functional activities. How well had the functional input been integrated? So I will give them my input because I'm the technical expert here. So I will give them my input, and I will decide how this project integrated my functional expertise or my functional input. So these are the black and white areas. And in between, we have some gray areas. Who will do the task? I want John to join my team. I'm the project manager. I worked previously with John, and I'm very comfortable dealing with him. So I want John to join my team. The functional manager will say, no, actually, I need John to work on these other tasks or activities. Take Samantha. So we need to negotiate who will do the task, where the task will be done. So as a project manager, I managed to have a meeting room for the team. And I want all the team members to come and work from this location. The functional manager will say, actually, no, I want my employees to work from my location and maybe come to your location frequently or maybe work remotely. So again, we will negotiate this. Also, why will the task be done? Again, I have my viewpoint from project management background. The functional manager have their technical background, so we might negotiate if this task is important, why do we need this task to be done? For example, I need this functionality to be tested twice in certain times, and the technical manager says, no, actually, this is waste of time. Actually, we just need to test it once, and that's sufficient. Or maybe the opposite. And also, if the task satisfactorily completed or not, because at the end of the day, we need someone to approve the task or the output of a task. So we might negotiate who will approve what. So based on this negotiation, we have the 3 types of matrix. We have weak matrix, we have balanced matrix, and we have strong matrix. And because we are studying project management, we will decide this based on the power of the project manager. So when the project manager doesn't have much power and their role is much more of a coordination type, we call it a weak matrix, because the weight is at the functional manager's hand. So I'm weak as a project manager. I'm weak when it comes to power, okay, and decision making. So I'm just a coordinator, okay. You can see here the last point. It says the project manager acts as a staff assistant who draws the schedules, the checklists. I collect information on the status of the work. I facilitate the project completion. But the majority of the decision-making power lies at the hand of the functional manager. That's why it's weak. Strong, it means that I have more power than the functional manager. So I take the lead when it comes to decision making, especially when we're doing a trade-offs based on the 6 constraints of the project that we talked about last time. Schedule, scope, budget, risks, resources, and quality. So here the functional manager is a consultant. So I take their opinion, but I decide, I take the decision. Balanced, it means that the power is 50-50 or balance between the 2 managers. So the functional managers will be assigned to technical decisions, and all the managerial decisions are in the hands of the project manager. So somehow it's balanced. Well, this graph doesn't show much the power, but it will be indicated in we call it the RASI matrix. We will talk about this later, who is doing what and the authority of each team member, including the managers. So it will be reflected in other documents. So the advantages is that it's efficient. We have still a strong project focus because we have the majority of the team members dedicated to this project. It's easier to go back to your department if you are a team member here, especially if you don't dedicate your time fully for this project. You are between the functional area and the project. It's flexible. I don't want to take Samantha, give me John, and the communication is easier. The disadvantages is that we might have what we call dysfunctional conflict. And here we need to differentiate between functional and dysfunctional conflicts. Functional conflicts, it means that we have different viewpoints, but we are discussing our different viewpoints respectfully, and we are reaching some agreement. We might need to compromise few things. We might need to calculate few things. We might need to try different options. This functional conflict happens when I'm rigid, you are rigid, I don't want to listen to you, you don't want to listen to me, and I don't want to compromise, you don't want to compromise, so we are just butting heads. In fighting, this is when we have disagreements between the team, and the team themselves cannot reach, some sort of agreement because maybe they didn't have enough rapport or anything. Stressful, because just imagine if you are part of, again, to this testing, and you are working on this project and at the same time working on another project, or you are the functional department head and you are managing your operation work in addition to different projects, and also as a project manager you need to coordinate with all these other managers and maybe create different reports to these managers and deal with different personalities. So it's stressful. Also one of the disadvantages, it's slow, because it has, you can see that it has the disadvantages of the organizational structures that's included in this matrix structure. So it is slow. So any question before we do our group? And actually I will give you a long time for this activity because you will need it. So any question?
Yes, Professor, I have
yes.
two questions actually. In the functional chart that you showed before, does the salaries of the employees or the project's involvement people added to the project or with the company?
Yeah, this is very, very important, because the financial department has to
cost allocation.
Yes,
cost allocation, to make a cost allocation.
Yes. So they will create these accounts, and they will design a model how to allocate the money. So for example, if I'm dedicating one of my engineers to this project and they work 2/3 of their time on this project, so the salary might come from the budget allocated to the project, and the department covers the other third. So that's why it's not easy, and it doesn't have flexibility in this area. It might have flexibility in the technical side, but in the financial calculations, it might be a hurdle.
Yes. My second question, usually in the functional organization, we make the dotted line the communication channels for the functional reporting and the direct for the admin reporting. Is it applied here?
Yes. Yes.
So the project manager here is functionally, and the admin is for the head of the department.
Yes.
But here it's not dotted, and like it's not dotted. It's not showing the real reporting system.
Well, okay. If you are here working on this project, and you are reporting to both, actually. You are reporting to the project manager and you are reporting to the marketing, if you are from the marketing department.
But which is dotted which is dotted and which is straight, which is admin reporting and which is functional reporting?
Okay, actually, I feel that the line, the solid one is the admin. The dotted is the coordination between the project manager and the rest of the departments.
Okay. My final comment is regarding the matrix disadvantage. What I learned is whoever the person is accountable or responsible must have the authority.
Mm-hmm.
So who will be accountable? Is it the project manager or the head of the department? It depends.
Okay.
Start of the project.
Yes, it depends on the project and it depends on the type of the decision. Okay, we said we have strong and balanced and weak. From experience, in the same project, you might find the project manager have a strong authority in certain areas and weak authority in other areas. That's why it's very important. That's why I told you the hierarchy will not show this. What will show this? Another document, we call it the RACI, R-A-C-I. It means that who is responsible for this task, who is accountable for this task, who is consulted in this task, and who is just informed. And later I will share with this and we will talk about this. This shows exactly the type of responsibility. So if the majority of the decision power lies at the hand of the project manager, we have a strong matrix. If the majority of the power lies at the functional manager's hands, and here I'm talking about so many managers from all other business units, it means that the project manager has weak authority. But this will be reflected not on the chart, but on the responsibility matrix. Any other question? Okay, what I want you to do is take photos of these charts because you will use it. So take a snapshot of the functional organization, or maybe or you will find this on Moodle. Take a snapshot of this one, dedicated project team. Take also a snapshot of this one, the projectized organizational structure. And this one, matrix organization software. Structure. And your, I will divide you into 4 groups, okay? The first group will be assigned to this company, a 20-person web design company that needs to manage many small projects. The second one, group 2, a 50-person catering company that provides catering services to special occasion events such as weddings and birthdays. The third one, a manufacturing company specializing in tires with 1,000 employees or workers. The last one, or group 4, a mechanical and electrical contracting company with 50 employees managing in-house teams and subcontractors. So what I want you to do is to design the appropriate organizational structure based on the information that I shared with you. Okay, that's why I wanted you to take snapshots of the different organizational structures so you can decide which organizational structure is best for these companies. And on Word or any other software, usually Word will be sufficient. You will use hierarchy or boxes. You can even use boxes and lines to draw the organizational structure for these companies. Okay, and show me where your project will be on this chart. And actually, I will give you the rest of the hour. So it's 12:20 now. We have 40 minutes to discuss and to draw the organizational chart. No, actually, I will give you. Okay, I'll give you for the rest of the time. Okay. Any question before I divide you into groups? We have here, okay, Muhammad Azad says, I think the weak matrix is near to functional one. Yeah, somehow, but you still have some dedicated project. And as I said, the project manager might have some weak influence in certain areas, but strong influence in other areas. Also, the dedicated method is suitable to businesses, which depends mainly on projects like IT and construction. Yes, and we call it projectized businesses. Yes, or companies. Yes. So any question? Okay.
Professor, question.
Okay, Judy again.
So it's not only one organizational is structure that we're going to use. We need to use one or two like that.
No, you need to decide to design one structure for your company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But you have to decide which one is suitable for the business of this company. That's why I wanted you to take snapshots of all structures. So in the discussion, you can decide, okay, this is the best one. Any other
I already shared snapshot for all.
Muhammad,
so which company will pick?
Okay.
Because you give more examples, like different examples.
Group one will take company one, and I give you a description of the company. If you have some information missing, set your assumptions. So group one will take the first one, group two, the second one, group three, the third, and group four, the fourth. Yeah, Muhammad Izzat, you were saying something?
No, doctor, I just said that I post a snapshot for the style of project management, and also the for company on WhatsApp group for all.
Okay, yes. Perfect. Okay, I'm not monitoring the that group while I'm teaching, but it's okay. It's another communication channel for you. So it's 4 groups. And for the timer, I will give you, actually now we don't have much time, so I will give you 30 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 30 minutes.
Okay.
But please use the 30 minutes. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hi. So quickly, I want to see your organizational structures. So I will stop presenting, and if you can share.
Ahmed is sharing now.
Okay. And tell us which company you are presenting.
Okay, we are group one. Me, Ahmed, and Muhammad Abu Layla, Muhammad Yusuf, and Wellington. Our company was a 20-person web design company that needs to manage many small projects. Okay. So we agree that it will be a functional priority.
There been
Sorry.
Ahmed, there is something in the voice in you.
Ahmed, can you fix your mic, please?
Okay. Okay. Hold on.
Ahmed, are you online? Okay, I'll take it from Ahmed. Ahmed, you can talk now.
Muhammad, do it, please, because we don't have
Okay,
time.
okay. We are going with the functional because it's a very small organization. So we have the owner or the director. It's mainly the owner. And we have one accountant and one administrative. The accountant is responsible for all financial transactions,
Can you
salaries.
share your screen?
Ahmed is sharing.
This is very strange. I cannot see it.
Ahmed, can you share it, please?
We cannot see anything, Muhammad. Can you share it from your laptop?
No, I don't have the laptop. Ahmed have it. Ahmed will share it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
he'll
okay.
share it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. We have the accountant.
Showing now.
Ahmed, just mute Ahmed.
Voice.
Okay, again, we have the owner or the director. We have an accountant for all financial transactions, salaries, or whatever. And we have an admin, which is responsible for all the administrative work and the HR issues. Then we have two head of departments, sales department. Under them, the sales rep or key account managers, which will be the project manager because they are going to communicate with the customers, taking projects from them, and communicate with the other department, which is the developer and designer. Okay, the head of the development and design have under it how much? 5 designers, 5 programmers, and 1 IT technician. Okay.
Okay, so where is your project will fit?
The key account is the project manager because they will take the project from the customers and will follow up with the designers, programmers, and IT technician. And after sales, after the process is done, they will make also the after sales.
So why didn't you go to a projectized structure?
Because it's very small organization. It might be expensive. And we assumed also because usually the web designers company, they are not just making a web design only. They are making also designs for brochures or whatever. So it's not only a web design. So they have another job.
So why didn't you choose matrix? So you will still have your functional departments, but later they are divided into projects, and you have the full-time equivalent for each project.
Actually, this is a weak matrix because here the project manager have a low influence power. Okay, but usually from my experience from such companies that the sales rep, who is the key account manager that we communicate directly with him, he communicate with all the departments in his company and he returned back to us with the feedback. That's why we choose functional, not the matrix. Despite we can use matrix, but it will be weak matrix.
Weak matrix.
Yes, because here the power is for the designers and developers rather than the sales accountant.
Yeah. From experience, sometimes you start with a specific structure and then after a couple of years you do a restructuring because maybe you expanded, maybe the business need, maybe you tested this structure and it's not working. If I am doing this, I might choose a matrix.
Yeah, but again,
I understand. I'm just adding a comment that in real life, companies go through several restructuring, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it will not be strong matrix. It will be weak matrix. The authorization will be direct to the head of design and development managers.
Okay, thank you so much. Group 2.
Thank you.
Okay, I will share my screen now. Just a second. Okay, here we are. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, it's showing now. Yeah.
Yes, we also choose projectized organization structure because we are not serving on a daily basis. We have only special occasion events such as weddings and birthdays, nothing more. So we have, of course, CEO or director, doesn't matter. And we have 5 core departments like procurement, marketing, HR, finance. Also, finance will calculate menus. For example, if some event agency will approach us and ask to feed the budget with menu, we can do this also. And head chief, who also will be responsible for quality of the products we provide. And then we have like project managers. It's usually sous chefs we assume. And,
or event manager.
Or doesn't matter. Okay. It's each project will have the own head of project, and will consist from the cookers, bakers, kitchen staff, waiters, barmen, and etc., who is needed according to 50% we have. And HR department with head chief will allocate the people from project to project because, for instance, marketing will find or to partnership with some agencies, we'll find clients, and we need to understand how many cookers we needed for serving special events, for example, birthday or wedding. And according to this, people will be allocated from one project to another project, something like this.
Well, I don't know. Personally, I'm against doing projectized for this company because we have so many shared functions. And you, for example, you cannot dedicate one chef to one event because you might need 3 different chefs, one pastry, one cake, one food, for example. So I think also Matrix will be good for this company, so they can manage different projects, but at the same time, the tasks are organized in the functions, and we borrow people from their business units.
But these business units will not work. I understand if they have some core business, but their core business is only projects. They don't need to be staying in the department full time because department doesn't provide some services because we don't have daily business. We have only event-based business.
Yes. However, for example, if the kitchen will be a functional unit that is common or used by all these projects sometimes at the same time.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So especially the kitchen or the decoration. So I thought my thinking process is Matrix also will be very good for this. I will also add a unit for event management where we have several event managers that are working as project managers.
But you mean event managers, not like preparing all event, because we are responsible only catering.
We are coordinating, planning, assigning work to different departments. So we might have decoration, we might have music or DJs.
But we are not, we are only catering. I'm sorry, but we are only catering. We are not managing all the wedding. We are providing only catering services. And I agree that we have some agency which will give us a strict instruction that we need to serve these tables at this time with this food and with these drinks, nothing more. We are not providing this wedding by ourselves.
Yeah, you are providing catering. So in this case, this might work. This might work. However, because there are certain common functions. So, for example, catering, we might have different cuisines. or something. But this work and this work, it depends how you approach or how you organize the work.
I think here should be very, very tough HR and chief, because they should understand, for example, for 250 wedding, we need 5 cookers, 10 bakeries, and so on. For birthday, which consists from 10 people, we need only 1 cooker and 1 barman maybe. And allocation, right allocation of people will give more chances to serve large number of projects. So it's a very teamwork between the departments.
Okay, thank you so much. Group 3.
Hello, everyone. Mohammed now will share the screen. Actually, we are group number 3 and a manufacturer of tires with 1,000 employees. Basically, we had very active discussion, and we understood that our current charts is very suitable. This is matrix organizational structure. We have president, we have departments like human resource, finance, we have engineering, manufacturing, marketing, and also we, as we are a big company, we require also projects department. So in case, for instance, we have the project of implementing or developing a new type of tire, then we allocate a project manager, and then we have also allocate functional manager who is responsible for executing the engineering part and mentoring that. So for that, we require a design engineer, we require a mechanic engineer, and quality assurance. Also, we allocate marketing for this project, and also we allocated from manufacturing and for consultancies purposes financial department to assist us to execute launching new project. So Mohammed, can you also share the another slide with the difference for project manager and functional? Mohammed?
Did he leave the meeting?
Perhaps something with connection.
No, I share it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so as I previously mentioned, that for our project manager, his role can be also like weak one, because the mainly responsibility of the project flow will be like for quality-wise, we don't functional manager. Project manager will be mostly responsible for accomplishing the tasks, for completing, for setting schedules and monitoring the progress in general. But for the quality-wise, it will be functional manager mostly.
Well, for this company, I can see the functional can work, and also the matrix. It depends on the number of projects that they have and the type of projects that they have. So if they were heavily oriented towards operations, it means that they have their fixed production lines. So they might have some projects from time to time for improvement or certain opportunities. They might just use their functional structure and use the dynamics of a functional structure. If they have more projects, for example, they are geared towards innovation, maybe changing the design, maybe working with different brands or car manufacturers to provide them with their tires, they might go into a matrix. And I'm happy that you even thought about which type of matrix they will have. And because this is a technical heavy project, you choose to have a weak matrix. So the project manager acts mainly on coordinating and monitoring the performance, while the technical managers have the weight or more authority in decision making. Thank you. Last one, last group. Who was in last group? No one? Okay. Well, we came to an end. So please work among your groups to decide the project. Next week, we will talk more. I will talk also in the beginning of the class about the task or assignments of the group project and what I'm expecting. And again, if you have any question, please email me to my personal email. Again, I'm writing it. And for the presentation, week 2 is already posted. Sorry, week 1 is already posted, and week 2 I will post it soon. Any question before we leave?
Thank you, Professor.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
And I will see you next week.
Thank you, Professor.
Bye.
Bye.